gives scholarships to Geauga County students or students who attend school in Geauga County who have, through their work, their scholastic work, their volunteer work, and their writings have demonstrated their commitment to conservation in Geauga County. So we, to present the scholarships this year, Richard McCullough can come up. And our winners this year are Amy Reeks Dunham of Hershey Montessori School, Hayden Nake of West Geauga High School, and Katie Malloy of Chardon High School.
Thank you, Kathy. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rich McCullough. Bob McCullough's youngest child. My sister Becky Strong is also here. We're representing the family today. Today, with our award winners, it was really exciting to get to look at who these people were today, because they combine a lot of what Dad's passions were here. A couple people here were involved with the Geauga Park District. Dad was on the park board for 38 years. He joined the park board when I was 3 years old, so there's not a time I don't remember him being on the board until he retired. Prior to that, he was involved with the education committees with their determining what programs the park would be involved with. He also led the Saturday bird walks for a long time on there. He was involved quite a bit with the parks going up even before he became a commissioner there. Our people from there, Tom Curtin, I remember first hearing of the Curtins when Heidi became the naturalist for the park district. And he goes, yeah, Dad goes, yeah, her husband is also with the park district in Lake County. And he was with them sometime until he got fortunate to come to the Geauga Park District and really join a nice park district. Dwayne Ferris was the first full-time naturalist for the park district. And he also lived in Burton, a few blocks from Dad, and always came over and was talking about all the things he got to do. I remember thinking, boy, it'd be fun to do some of that stuff that he got to do. And he was involved with the parks quite a bit. Also a very big birder. I was fortunate enough to go birding with him a few times. Not even close to being their equal on that, but I knew enough to pay attention and I could learn a few things from both of them. So it was very enjoyable getting to go birding with the two of them. I learned a lot of my waterfowls and a lot of my shorebirds from going with them to Ladue Reservoir all the time. And Melquest with the Native Plant Society. Almost monthly, Dad talked about the Native Plant Society growing up. I remember hearing about them all the time, and the plant surveys that they were doing, and the different plants that were on the park properties that were rare and unusual and really nice things to get to see. That was one of Dad's passions. Also, the educating of the kids. He was a teacher for 38 years. 31 of those are at West Geauga High School. So it was really exciting to get to see a West Geauga person win one of these scholarships this year. He did a lot of things with West Geauga there. Some things he had to talk the administration into grudgingly on there. He converted one of their courtyards into a tall grass prairie and planted prairie plants in there and somehow talked the maintenance staff into not cutting the grass. That lasted until the day after he retired. So that was pretty fun to get to do that. He took trips every year with them to Ogilvie Park in West Virginia to go birding in there for the early mornings, to see the nature in there, to see how the natural resources get applied in the other places that they go to. They would go into there, they would go into Pittsburgh, and they spent 4 or 5 days down there being in the park, birding, seeing nature, seeing how things work with natural resources, seeing biology as how it works in the outside world. those were fun things to do. A lot of my family got to go with them. When we became high school ages, we went with them and really enjoyed getting to do that. Dad would have loved to have heard about all the things that the three of you got to do, Amy, Caden, and Kaylee. All the different things you got to do, the volunteering, all the projects you got to do. He would have really enjoyed getting the opportunities that you did, hearing with them, and also hearing what you did beyond that. He kept in touch with his old students. I've heard from some people today who were students or family members of students about how much they enjoyed him in class. And that's really glad to get to hear. But he also would have kept in touch with his students after school. And we always heard about, well, this student I had 10 or 15 years ago, this is what they're up to now, and the exciting things that his former students got to do. The three of you are going to be former high school students pretty soon, and I'm sure your teachers are going to want to hear all the great things that you get to do. And everything you get to do from beyond when they teach you in the class, when you apply all the stuff that they will taught you. With that, I will turn this back over to Kathy. Thank you very much, and congratulations to our scholarship winners.
I'd like to call each of you up and have you say a little bit about the essay that you wrote for us and the things that you have been doing and maybe your hopes and dreams for the future for your time in conservation. Come on up. Well, let's start out with Caden.
First of all, thank you so much for this scholarship. I am very grateful for the opportunity to further my commitment to conservation through my school. In the future, I plan to attend a four-year college and study environmental science, possibly journalism as well. I'd like to do exposure work on current environmental issues. I would also love to work for National Geographic someday. I've been inspired by this ever since I presented at their headquarters in DC for the Washington Youth Summit on the Environment about the effects of microplastics. In addition to my main career goals, I'm constantly working on combining my passions for science, the environment, writing, photography, and art. Another one of my goals is to minor in art and continue drawing and painting various endangered species and threatened landscapes in an effort to raise awareness. I have a lot of goals for my future. I would like to publish my poetry with emphasis on the importance and beauty of the natural world and the impacts that it can have. I would also like to teach someday, and I'd like to inspire others to protect the environment and to make a difference. Thank you.
Katie, come on. Kaylee Malloy, please come on.
As she said, I'm Kaylee Malloy, and I'd like to thank all of you for being here, because just being here means that you guys are passionate about the environment just like I am. And a lot of times it's really easy to get discouraged in the environmental field, but just thank you for being here, because it's moments like these where you really know that there's people out there that support the same thing you do. But to just talk about like how I began to get interested in the environment, I always used to, actually on my birthday, we would go down to Lake Erie and we'd watch the sunset. Like that would always be the end of my birthday. And so I became really like passionate about protecting Lake Erie and just the parks around us. But my first like solidified work with the environment was in 8th grade. I did a project on microbeads, which are microplastics in Lake Erie, and I took it all the way to the state level and just worked with that, which is really cool. And then actually, I didn't even know, I attended WISE as well. So I went down to Washington as well, and to talk more about microplastics. So my plan would be to attend a Fordham University and study environmental science. Not entirely sure where yet, all over the place. But yeah, so that's the plan, and thank you for making part of that possible, and thank you everyone for being here today.
And now we have Amy Weeks Dunham.
I'm so glad to be able to receive this scholarship to help me pursue a career in marine biology.